Hi, and welcome back to step number 1, where we're going to finish, hopefully, the faces. So we're going to work on the next 5 faces and the top face and learn how to finish these up. So last time we finished the white face and the bottom 5 faces. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip our 3x3 cube upside down, and we're going to go through and we're going to look now how to solve the next upper face. So I'm going to start by locating the red and the green, and red and green means that I need this face to be the cream color. When I look at this setup here, I have 2 of them, but unfortunately they are not next to each other. Now I tend, when I'm working on the upper faces, I tend to try and work things up here on top and then bring them down. The other great thing about working these last 6 faces is the next 4 on the sides seem to go fairly quick because we're not having to examine all over the cube to find everything. So I just have to decide to pick one of these, because we always start off with one in our face. And notice I've got another one up here. I want this to be rotated up here to create a bar. So I'm going to rotate my top counterclockwise. I'm going to take this track and move it up. Now notice when I do that, I interrupt my lower faces, in particular the green and the purple face. So I'm going to make sure then that I rotate again counterclockwise. I remove the 2 cream color faces from this track and I replace the track. When I replace that line of travel, my green face goes back and my dark purple face goes back. So everything is fixed. Now the next question is, how am I going to get this down here without removing the cream colored one? Well, I'm first going to rotate this so it's on this line of travel. Both pieces are on this line of travel. So again, I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise. If I follow this line of travel, I see that I will knock this cream color out. So I'm going to rotate that cream color, and I'm going to rotate the front face counterclockwise. I'm going to bring down my bar. Remember, this was my line of travel, so I'm going to move the front face around until I don't have the cream color in the line of travel. Notice when I brought this down, I messed up the red face and the blue face. So I'm going to bring that back up, fixing those faces. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to look for 2 more creams so I can combine them together. So they're on opposite sides. So that's okay. I'm going to move one of these up here. Now because this is down at the point, there's no line of travel directly up here. So I'm going to rotate this counterclockwise, move it up to the top, rotate it out of the way in terms of the line of travel, bring it down, because I want these to be always back to where they go. Now I'm going to find the other cream piece. It too is at the peak. I don't want it to be in the peak because there's no line of travel from the peak to my top face. So let's just rotate it this time clockwise. Now notice where this sits. This sits at the bottom of these 2. So if I rotate it, it's going to land where the pink one is. So let's just see to make sure that what I'm saying is correct. Yep, and there it is. So that's not where I want that. So I'm going to rotate it back. And then I have a choice. Either I can take this face and move it over here to this green, because we know this is going to replace the pink, or I can rotate my top face clockwise 1 click, so when I rotate it down, they will hook up together and create a bar. I'm going to rotate it out of the line of travel, and I'm going to rotate that face back. Now I have to get this bar down here. And it's the same process. I'm going to rotate the top counterclockwise. I'm going to move this down to push these two out of the way. When I do, I'm going to rotate the face so that I have the two colors that I don't want in the line of travel. Rotate my track up, and the cream is now finished. So if we compare, we've got red, green, and cream on top. The next one that I'm going to look at then is the color that's going to be between the dark green and the purple. So here's dark green and purple. So that means that this has to be the light blue face. This is really swell. I've already got one light blue one. So I'm going to go hunting around for two more to create my first bar. There is one here. There is one down here. If I rotate this to the line of travel, it's going to push this blue one out of the way. Because this one's on the bottom, I'm simply going to move the top one to the bottom, but I'm going to rotate it one more time to get this blue out of the line of travel. It's still on the bottom, but it's not in the line of travel. So when I move this up, they will click together. I rotate the two blue ones out of the way, and I move my track back, or I move this column back, or I move this row back. How am I going to get this to the blue side? Well, I'm going to rotate it around so that I have a line of travel to go from the top down to this face. By doing so, I see though that I'll kick this piece out. So I'm going to rotate this face counterclockwise and put the light blue on the tip. So now my two blues will replace the two orange ones. I rotate it down. The three of them are lined up. I rotate the face until I have non-blue colors in the track and rotate my track back up. Next piece, I need to find the last blue bars. Now notice how things are coming together, right? I'm starting to create pieces that are starting to come together. That's because we're literally running out of space, okay? So things are starting to come together where we didn't see this when we started with the lower faces. Here is a light blue one. Here is a light blue one. Just to make it easier for me, I'm going to push one light blue one up to the top, rotate it out of the way, bring my track back. So now when I go to line this to the top, I don't know, I just find it easier because from the top, it's easy for me to go down and move them down to each individual face. That's why I like to create my bars up on top. This is at the bottom. This is at the top. This is in the track or the line of movement. So I'm going to move it out of the way. If I move it to the top, then this one has to be moved to the top. So when I do my line of movement, because this pink is going to replace this top gray. If I rotate it, blue now will replace the top gray. So I'm going to rotate it up, rotate the blue out of the way, rotate my line of travel back down. Rotate the cube. This is nice because it's lined up right here. So I'm going to take this bar and replace this bar temporarily. So I'm going to rotate it down. I'm going to turn my face clockwise to get the blue out of the line of rotation or out of the track of movement. And I'm going to bring it back up. Now let's just do a quick check because it's always good to do a quick check. Make sure all of our faces are still intact. Because if one of them accidentally got out of whack, I want to fix them before I finish doing this whole face. So every once in a while you want to just do a little check-in. All right, the next one. We've got purple and yellow, so this needs to be orange. I've got 3 green ones, 1 gray one, 1 pink one. So I just need to find a single orange. Here's a single orange by itself. I'm going to rotate it up, or actually I guess sideways. I'm going to rotate it out of the line of travel and rotate that column back down. So now I've got 1 orange. Now look how nice this is here. I've already got 2 bars. All I've got to do is move them. So we'll start by moving this one. This is the line of travel. Orange is in the way. I'm going to move it over so that when these travel up, this orange will still connect to these 2. I move it up. I rotate my face to get the orange out of the way of travel, and I rotate the cube. Notice when I check, these are all still intact. Last face. It's on the horizontal, so I'm going to move it to the vertical. Well, let's do it to the left this time. As I rotate this up following this line of movement, I need to replace 2 with 2. So I'm going to rotate that top part counterclockwise. I'm going to rotate it up, rotate the face to get it out of the way, bring it back down. So now we have completed cream, blue, and orange. All right. The next one then, we're going to look what color is going to be in between the yellow and the blue. Light green. All right, now here we have a case where we already have a bar. So last time when we talked about if you have a bar already in place, we don't move the other bar up. What we do is we move this single one up. So this is a bar. That's going to be nice for our last piece. But I'm going to find the single gray, or the single green, light green, and that's what I'm going to move. This is my line of travel. So I need to get this piece out of the way, but yet in such a way that it will still be attached. I rotate it up. The 3 are attached. I rotate the face to get the green out of the line of travel and bring it back down. Here I have a bar already of green. I want to replace 2, so I'm going to replace the 2 in this track because this track travels up to this top face. So I'm going to rotate this face clockwise, bring the 2 up, rotate all of the green out of the way, and rotate my line of travel back down. Now we have completed so far all of them except the last 2. And it's the pink and the gray pieces. So I only have 2 sides here to work with. And this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. This is going to be my pink face because pink is between the green and the cream color. So this is my top. This is my gray piece. Now I need, on top, I need this single gray piece to be next to this bar. Notice it's not next to the bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this gray piece and I'm going to move it down here. And I'm going to replace it with a pink piece. All right? You're just going to have to trust me on this. It's going to work. So we're going to rotate this down. I'm going to rotate this around. And I'm going to push this back up. So now what I have up on top is I've got 1 bar and 3 pinks. Now down here, I've got 1 bar and this single one. And the reason why I did that is it allows me now to take this single one and attach it back up here in such a way that I can put it right next to one of these gray pieces. The way that it sits is it sits on the bottom. So if I rotate this up on my line of travel, it will sit next to this gray one down here on the bottom. So let's rotate it up. Oh, look how nice that is. I'm going to rotate it out of the way, and I'm going to bring this side back down. Now this is what's neat, okay? I've got these lined up, and I've got this bar right here lined up. I've got 3 pinks all together. I've got 3 grays all together. I'm going to take this bar of gray, I'm going to push it up and temporarily move the bar on the top. I move it up. Now notice when I oops, not that one. When I rotate the top all the way around, I've got pink. So when I rotate this down, it brings the gray back and it finishes the pink face. So you always do the last 2, and it doesn't have to be pink. It could be any one of these other colors. I just always tend to leave gray and pink for whatever reasons as the last 2. Again, creature of habit. But you solve these 2 kind of simultaneously because they're the only 2 faces left. Thank you so much for joining me for part 2. I hope that you have a great day and happy cubing.